Wait, no. Do you feel lucky, punk? That is the quote.
No, it's actually, you've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Next thing you're going to tell me is that Darth Vader never said, "Luke, I am your father."
Okay then. Hi, it's happy hour somewhere, so welcome to Drinking Dusties.
This is where we pull the cork on old bottles of whiskey to taste what's been waiting inside for decades.
And also uncork the amazing stories that went into those bottles.
True. I'm Charles Cox. I've written about whiskey at Maxim and Men's Journal magazines. I edit the annual World's Best Whiskeys Guide.
I'm Steve Russell, and I like bourbon and old stuff.
Didn't you also work at Playboy at one point?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Well, speaking of fifths, I believe, is this our Dusty right here, hidden in this mystery box?
It is.
Ooh, I'm excited. All right, but real quick, let's define what Dusty Bourbon means for our audience. For people who don't know, in a general sense, Dusties are bottles that you can't easily find on liquor store shelves anymore.
Why?
Because they were produced and distributed, years or even decades ago. Sometimes the distillery doesn't even exist anymore. Maybe it went out of business during less bourbon-loving times, like the Bourbon Glut, or pencil-pushing accountants changed how the whiskey was made. Big international conglomerate bought it, or there was a fire.
Fire bad.
Or a flood, or a change in the mash bill, or the equipment, or new sourcing. As a matter of fact,
the point being, a Dusty is an old bottle that's been collecting dust somewhere that used to be on the back shelves of small liquor stores, but those days of walking into your local mom-and-pop package store and finding an orphan Cecil Weller bottle are long behind us. These days, you need deep pockets or deep detective skills to score them, but that's half the fun of it.
Half. The more fun half, of course, is actually how Dusties taste. It's tough to put a finger on it, but sometimes these old bourbons are just more robust. They have a rounder flavor. It's kind of like the difference between listening to your favorite album on vinyl versus listening to it on Spotify.
Or sometimes they've turned into hobo pee.
On that note, we should get to the whiskey. But since this is our first ever episode, we should explain why people should trust our opinion.
They should not.
That's probably good advice. That said, we've both been obsessed with bourbon for years, and we have tasted individually hundreds of them. And that's just this week.
But that doesn't mean our opinions are more valid than yours. All taste is subjective, and half the time, me and this dude don't even agree on what whiskey is better.
Or what to have for breakfast or anything. So I don't even actually usually like to rank whiskeys against each other. My palate's different every day. My mood changes. Sometimes I'm just, want to try something else. So I like to share what I notice about the flavor of the whiskey, but I'm not really going to trash it unless it's really awful or they do something to piss me off.
And if we say we don't like something that you like, that doesn't mean you're wrong. It just gives you an excuse to yell at your screen that we're fucking idiots.
They should go ahead and do that anyway. Do that right now. Go ahead.
So, is it time?
Absolutely. What do you got for us this week?
Oh boy. Damn, this is kind of exciting. Today, for our first ever episode, we're going to open up a special bottle.
Okay. Ooh. What's that?
A 1960 IW Harper.
Bang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Distilled in the fall of 1955, bottled in the fall of 1960.
Hot damn. So that means this juice was aged in the barrel for, carry the one, 5 years.
Good job.
Aw, thanks.
And this bottle's been sitting around for?
65 years.
Good job.
Yay, math.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did this ever end up in your undeserving hands?
I snagged it at an online auction.
Oh, as one does. How much?
It was right around none.
None yet.
Yeah, as in none your damn business.
I'm just going to find the price and put it up on the screen for everybody to see.
Ugh, editing. Well, okay. All right. I will say that I've seen this go from $500 to $2,000. And this one was in there somewhere.
All right. So it's definitely a cool bottle.
Yeah, I'm a fan. IW Harper had a standard bottle in that era. Intern Chad, can you put up that photo? Nope, the other way.
Chad.
Thanks, Chad. But like other distilleries, they put out dolled up decanters back in the day, too. A couple of other rectangular ones resembled this bottle, but best I can tell, this particular decanter hit shelves only in 1960. Since it came out in the fall, I figure it was aimed at Christmas gift shopping. Unlike the standard Harper bottling, this juice is 100 proof, bottled in bond.
Oh, can I tell them what bottled in bond means?
Nope, we are pressing on.
Thanks.
The back label reads, straight bourbon whiskey, 100 proof, 4/5 quart, distilled in Kentucky, distilled and bottled by IW Harper Distilling Company, Louisville, Kentucky, DSB Kentucky 1.
DSP, and that stands for Distilled Spirits Plant. That was a classification given to distilleries for the taxation purposes. There were a couple thousand of them in Kentucky, and right up until Prohibition.
Boo!
Yeah, until Prohibition shuttered a lot of them, and then after repeal,
yay,
which was in 1933, after repeal, a lot of old numbers were suddenly available. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And the newly organized Bernheim distillery managed to grab DSP 1 because lower DSP numbers then, as today, are, give you more cred.
You probably recognize the name Bernheim as a brand now produced by Heaven Hill, which at one time shared the DSP Kentucky 1 number.
Share? How do they share?
Because everything about making whiskey apparently needs to be confusing and complicated.
Thanks, Kentucky. So skip ahead and tell us about this IW Harper fella.
Well, he wasn't a fella.
Okay, he was a lady?
He wasn't anything. There was no person named IW Harper. Now, there was a gentleman named IW Bernheim, or Isaac Wolf Bernheim, who immigrated from Germany to New York City in 1867 with $4 in his pocket.
$4? You only had one pocket?
Yep, that's how poor he was. After working as a peddler selling household goods by horseback in Pennsylvania, he moved to Kentucky and worked as a bookkeeper for a liquor wholesaler.
Beekeeper?
Seeing the opportunity in liquor sales, he brought his brother over from Germany. Together they formed Bernheim Brothers in 1872 and bought a distillery in Louisville, which is when it became well known for the high-end IW Harper bourbon brand.
Got it.
Since there was no IW Harper, it seems very likely the IW was for our boy Isaac Wolf.
Makes sense. But
Harper was used instead of Bernheim to sound, well, honestly, a little less Jewish.
Got it.
It was quality stuff and even won a grand prize in competition at the 1904 Louisiana Purchase Exhibition, more commonly known as the St. Louis World's Fair.
I was there. It was awesome.
Oh, wow. Maybe that's why when Prohibition rolled around, Bernheim Brothers was one of 10 distilleries allowed to keep making bourbon for medicinal purposes.
Medicinal purposes. I love them.
They're delicious. After Prohibition, Burnham sold the distillery to Shinley Distilling, which also has a huge place in the history of North American whiskey, but it's a wild story for another day. Yeah. IW Harper continued to be a popular premium bourbon for decades and was probably near its pinnacle when this bottle came out in 1960.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. But during the whiskey glut, and then owned by United Distillers, IW Harper was turned into a budget brand in the U.S. while remaining a sought-after export bottle, especially in Japan. In the mid-90s, it was removed from the U.S. market altogether.
Yet, there are still these bottles of IW Harper that are in liquor stores now.
Right. The brand was revived in 2015 by Diageo, the British liquor giant that also owns George Dickel, Bulleit, and more Scottish distilleries than you can shake a kilt at.
Yeah, small craft distiller.
Right, small craft distiller. But besides the name, those new bottles have little connection to this here Dusty.
All right, I want to drink that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's time to drink that Dusty.
All right.
Okay. But, I mean, let's acknowledge that we're about to open and drink a bourbon that has somehow managed to evade that fate for 65 years.
Wow. Brother Bourbon, we honor your sacrifice.
I actually don't know exactly what's under this tall cap. Like if it's just a screw off or if there's a stopper piece that sticks down to the neck. But we're about to find out, people.
There's only one way to find out. It's now a bad time for me to tell you the camera wasn't running.
Oh!
Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good. Really. The top of the cap is cool. It has a raised silhouette of a fancy man with top hat and cane.
Fancy man.
Back in the day, that was a huge part of the brand's identity.
It smells so good. Oh, look at that. That's a cool ad. Yep. Okay. So we got our glasses here.
Yep.
All right. Why don't you give us a pour?
Okay. Holy moly.
You're trembling a little bit.
I know.
All right. Here, I'll pour mine. And my Glen.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. All right. We choose to sip our pours neat to be able to get the unadulterated flavor of it. But you should drink your whiskey however you damn well feel like having it. No shame in that.
Unless it involves Mountain Dew or Red Bull, then you should be publicly stoned.
That's probably a good call. We often like to put in ice or water afterwards. But, oh, man.
Oh.
And I use a Glencairn glass specifically because the shape of the glass really focuses the aromas in so you can breathe it into your nostrils.
And I'm using this glass because it's the glass I like to drink bourbon from.
Fair enough.
Glencairn, huh?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Then I'm going to name my glass Glen Campbell.
You do you, Wichita lineman. That shirt.
I predict you have some notes on the nose.
I've got my nose right here in the glass. Yeah, I definitely you get a little bit of ethanol burn, but it's more like a lot of caramel, a lot of brown sugar, baking spice, but definitely you get that sort of musty old wood too, like you're pulling out a drawer on an old desk. And
I think it smells a lot like bourbon.
that too.
Pretty good bourbon. Definitely hasn't gone funky or skunky after 65 years.
I think we should try it.
Let's do it, man. Oh, man. Okay. I predict you might have some tasting notes.
I in fact do. I mean, you get a lot of the same notes from the nose. I mean, it's definitely got some heat to it, but in a very pleasant way. It really lingers on the tongue. You get that finish of cinnamon across your tongue at the end that's really sort of staying with you. Yeah. And
to add to that, I'll say it tastes a pretty good bourbon. A little bit like 1960.
1960, huh? Good taste.
Speaking of 1960, do you know who was president when this was bottled?
President of what?
Of what? The United States of America.
All right, so 1960, that was the election between Nixon and Kennedy. Kennedy won, but he wasn't in office yet, so president would have been Eisenhower.
Right, you're a history buff. Well, here's some other stuff that was going down in 1960.
Okay.
The Hollywood Walk of Fame was established. The USA launched the very first weather satellite. Russia shot down a U.S. U-2 spy plane. Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, won gold at the Summer Olympics in Rome. Just have another pour there,
Keep talking. All right. Keep talking.
Psycho made people afraid to take showers. The biggest movie at the box office that year was Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
Sure you are. And the top TV show was good old Gunsmoke.
Hey, cheers, Marshall Dillon.
Cheers, Marshall Dillon.
All right. So, are we going to drink more of this? Because I just poured myself some more.
That's okay, what it's here for.
All right.
It's So I'm not really getting the burn that you. I'm getting a burn down here a little.
Not
bit.
a burn, but it's definitely got some.
I think it's just that, like in that era, like 100 proof was kind of a high, proof thing.
And that is our sweet spot.
Yeah, it's a little. And speaking of which, it's a little bit sweet.
It's definitely sweet. I get a lot of
I'm getting sweet right on the front of my tongue.
So would you describe the sweet as more caramel or brown sugar or
caramel.
Maple? Yeah,
a little more caramel for me.
I definitely get caramel, a little bit of brown sugar too, and honey maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But
sure.
I don't get the everybody always goes stone fruit, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah, if you mixed honey and caramel together, I think that might be the sweet I'm getting. It's pretty darn good.
It's great, but definitely not getting the fruit aspect. With Dusties, I know you often get, they say, a lot of old wood flavor. There's not a lot. There's a little bit of oak.
You're right.
Not a lot.
Well, it's not, but the thing is, it wasn't aged that long. It's like, you pick up, there's an IW Harper 15-year-old on the shelves right now.
Right.
No relation to this bottle. But this is a 5-year-old bottle.
That's such a good point.
5-year-old juice, I mean.
So it didn't spend that much time in wood.
Didn't spend that much time in wood. Back then, it was, that was a decent amount of time to spend in the wood back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not a, super aged bourbon, although now it was, 65 years before we opened it up. Beautiful.
That is awesome. That's a friggin' time capsule right there.
Yep, absolutely.
And Fancy Man. Yeah, I love that. I like that a lot. I have to say the first smell, there wasn't a lot to it. Like it definitely smelled good, but there weren't a lot of nuances to talk about. Maybe there is some sandalwood.
Oh, there's no sandalwood. There's no
incense.
There's no sandalwood in bourbon.
There's none of any of these things in bourbon. There's no brown sugar. There's no stone fruit.
Right.
There's no brambleberries.
But it's a good bottle.
That's a great bottle.
Yeah, I'm happy for our first one that we didn't gag and spit it out.
So we are going to save some of this bottle here on Drinking Dusties. We actually want to share a pour from these one of a kind old whiskeys with real Dusty lovers. So we'll be picking a name at random from our list of Patreon supporters, and we are going to send that person a sample bottle, but it'll actually have whiskey in it.
So please support us on Patreon.
Absolutely.
And don't forget to click the button to subscribe to our channel to help us out. It don't cost nothing.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more great and ironically dusty yet new content.
That's right. We have more Dusties to share. Keep watching, and you might just meet our old grandpa.
Yeah, he's old, all right. Or we might take you to Tennessee or even Japan.
And back again.
Yeah, we'll always take you back.
Until then,
keep it dusty.
Cheers.
Cheers. Skull. That's really fucking good.
That's really good.
Man.